Welcome, our wonderful, wonderful audience. This is Dr. Peter Breggin. I'm a psychiatrist, and I'm here with Ginger Breggin.
Hi, folks.
Who is my partner of most amazing proportions. And today we're going to be talking about something that is very tragic and sad, but which is extremely uplifting, which is the life of Reiner Fuellmich. His last name is spelled Fuelmich. And Reiner is a lawyer who kind of reminds...
You need to let them know he's okay.
He's okay. He's in jail. He's being badly abused and has been badly abused in jail in Germany for 2 years and 7 months. And I suspect that the U.S. probably played some role in this. Our guest is an expert on his life and has visited him recently. And her name is Seba Terribilini. The last name, just with the terrible in it, is it Italian? And what does it mean, Terribilini? Does it mean terrible bull or terrible?
A little terrible. A little terrible, terribilini. A small little terrible.
Oh, a little terrible.
A little terrible. Well, I wouldn't mind having a name like that. Peter Terribilini. I like it, honey.
I'm afraid you're stuck with what you've got, babe.
Which has no meaning, Breggin. It was made up.
Well, that's okay.
It means from the river Breg, I think, in somebody's mind, who was emigrating into this country a long time ago.
That is a story for another day.
Yes, it is, darling.
We have a dear colleague who's been in prison for almost 3 years.
I feel almost, smacked in the head just talking about Reiner Fuellmich. Reiner was doing things time and again that I would have wished I would have been brave enough to do if I'd been a lawyer instead of a doctor. And I always planned to be a lawyer and never planned to be a medical doctor or psychiatrist. So I have a deep identification with him and feel like I've been out of touch with a family member for a long time. I last talked with Reiner shortly before he was entrapped by Germany and kidnapped out of Mexico and brought to this abusive trial. It's been endlessly abusive. And in a way that I would like to think just couldn't happen in many other countries like the U.S. But of course, we have very abusive trials here too. And we cover some of them. He and I were chatting partly about my invitation that he do a book chapter, which he did do a draft of, but was never finished in one of my new books that's coming out. Makes me think I should find a way to get that finished. Maybe I could send it to you and
Peter,
you could get it to him, and that won't get him in even more trouble. But I think of the monumental trouble he was probably, that they were afraid of him in getting to America. And I'll bet anything, our CIA was involved. Just like the German equivalent of the CIA was involved in this kidnapping of him. When I called him, or he called me that day, and me and Ginger on the phone, he talked about what turned out to be the beginning of this awful story, which is that his passport was missing, and he couldn't imagine how it got stolen or why it got stolen, but he couldn't find his passport. I'm not sure he was convinced it was stolen. He just couldn't find it. And I didn't get from him any very severe
alarm.
Good word. Did not sound.
But we were both on the phone with him that day. Looking back, I think we were one of the last people to speak with him other than his wife, because he was preparing to leave in a day or so for Mexico City to go to the embassy, the German embassy, and collect his new passport.
Instead, he got kidnapped.
He got kidnapped in the German embassy and immediately extradited to Germany and put in prison.
Is that right?
Seba?
Just a little thing. He was asked to go to Tijuana to the nearest consulate. He was not asked to go to Mexico City to the embassy. Of course, he was in touch with the embassy, but they asked him to go to Tijuana. And that day, they asked him to go directly to the airport because the consulate was closed for renovation. So they said someone will meet you at the airport. And yeah, it was met by 6 immigration officers.
Yeah.
And put directly on the plane.
Well, it was taken into custody so that he could not get help, and also his wife was also taken into custody so that she couldn't get a lawyer to help Reiner out of this situation. But in the meantime, they still had their cell phones, and they were able to call the embassy, but the embassy in Mexico City denied help. They
This is
didn't
very
help them.
conspiratorial.
Yeah, it's
breaking
unbelievable.
international laws and German laws.
Yeah. So his wife also had to spend a night in jail, and Reiner was brought to Mexico City, and the next day he was flown to Frankfurt Airport, where he was arrested. Based on an illegal European arrest warrant, based on a fake criminal complaint. And so this no procedure was carried out, no extradition or no deportation procedure was carried out. In fact, his kidnapping was disguised as a deportation when he was in Mexico, and as an extradition after he was arrested in Frankfurt. So the fake deportation order refers to Article 144, Section 1 of the immigration law, Mexican immigration law, where it says that either this person entered Mexico illegally through a place that he was not supposed to enter, or he lacked of documents. So that was not the case, because even if he had lost his passports, the embassy had new passports for them, for Reiner and for his wife already, and they also provided him with temporary documents. So nothing was real. So this was a fake deportation. And then once he was arrested in Frankfurt, the security agent there, the police agent who asked Reiner to sign the arrest protocol, she had the protocol in front of her and said, well, that's very strange. I was told it was an extradition, but I don't see the papers of an extradition. And Reiner told her, yeah, this was not an extradition. And she said, well, that's very strange. So she put a note in order, to be sure that nothing would pin on her, that no one would say something to this agent. And then Reiner asked her, well, I will need you to testify what you just said to me. Mm-hmm. And so you see, the thing is very strange. No international arrest warrant, only a European arrest warrant, which was illegal because German prosecutors are not allowed to issue any European arrest warrant, but they did it anyway.
And that's the story of the whole trial.
Was
judges doing things they're not supposed to do, jailers doing things they're not supposed to do, and partners of his doing things that they should not be doing, and turning on him. It's just a sad story, and I just the amount of confusion it had to be engendering in him It's like a worst nightmare. One of the reasons I have avoided that nightmare is that repeatedly my wife has intervened in my life to prohibit me from going abroad for fear of something like this happening to me once I got out of the country.
He was invited to a couple of different countries that I felt were absolutely
Mexico was one.
Mexico was
I
one.
was invited to come give a talk in Mexico City and to get an award, and I did get the award, but I didn't go.
He did the speech remotely instead, the plenary, via Zoom. At that point,
Yeah.
before COVID. Yeah, you wouldn't have traveled after COVID anyway. So
Yeah.
it was in the teens at some point. And Mexico has too little security. It would have been easy for someone who was his enemy corporately, Big Pharma, other
Very similar enemies to
Reiner's enemies.
Reiner, yes.
But
And maybe
it would have been easy for someone to pretend that they were kidnapping him when actually they were removing him
you
as
see.
in some other way in order to silence him, which I believe that what has happened with Reiner is just, it's an attempt to take a very significant player, if you will, off the board of influence in terms of the whole COVID capture of the
the reason I
world.
suspect the CIA would be involved would be the last thing they would want would be Reiner, who has a, so far as I remember, a lawyer's license in California to
Yes.
come to the U.S. and continue his Nuremberg trial, essentially, like a Nuremberg trial that he was conducting in Europe against the establishment and COVID leadership, and that's partly what I was testifying about. And when I went
Yeah,
to
of course, they wanted to lock him up because of his investigative work and all the evidence he had gathered.
yeah,
And all this evidence was then taken into
probably Fauci was probably shaking in his boots at the
At the idea of Reiner being in California.
with a license to practice law.
yeah. So he presented all this evidence in a model grand jury proceedings, which was in February 2022. So that was an enormous amount of work what he did,
Yeah.
and he had all the evidence about the worst crime ever perpetrated against humanity. That's what he says. He still says that.
And he's
And
still right, yes.
if I may go back to Mexico quickly, we should maybe mention why Reiner was in Mexico. So Reiner and his wife were in Peru, half for work and half for holiday. And then Inca, his wife, was supposed to meet some friends in Mexico, whereas Reiner was going to go back to California. And the day before he flew to California, his visa was cancelled by the US government.
And there you go.
And there you go. So all of a sudden, he was there, he was stuck there. And what he did, he just followed Inca, his wife, to Mexico. And that's where they stayed for many months until he was lured into a trap and asked to go to Tijuana to get this new passport. And then it was, yes, we know what happened afterwards, but we know also that many figures conspired for many months. So the LKA, the BKA, so all the intelligence offices, the
I don't know those
constitutional,
abbreviations.
the constitutional.
We don't know those abbreviations.
So the LKA is the same as the FBI for you. And the Constitutional Protection Office is actually the one who was on top of all the other agencies. Okay, so they wanted to take Reiner down, and they tried already once, and this is the second attempt. We can talk about it later. But what I was telling you is that we know about a conspiration among those figures. So the accusers,
The conspiracy.
yes, yes, all the secret services, the accusers, and the prosecutor office, which is not normal. You know, they were all exchanging emails to try to get Reiner, to figure out where Reiner was and how to get him into a trap. So the Constitutional Protection Agency is actually the agency that tried to take Reiner down 2 times. So the first one was a direct attempt to take him down. So they just asked a senior prosecutor in Göttingen, where Reiner was, to investigate on Reiner. So this senior prosecutor, after a preliminary investigation, said there was nothing to pin on Reiner. She didn't want to investigate on nothing, and so she just dismissed the case and said that she was not there to follow orders coming from, she was not there to follow orders and to try to invent something to pin on Reiner. Okay, that's what she said. But 2.5 months after she dismissed the case, what they did was to transfer a very young prosecutor from Hanover to Göttingen to bypass the senior prosecutor. They changed the file number. And so they had their men doing what they wanted to do, which is taking Reiner down.
Yeah. Yeah. It shows how vulnerable they felt to, I think that the globalists felt, to being taken down by determined opposition.
They went to great lengths. We're going to take a break now, and we'll be right back.
And let me add that the full story of Dr. Reiner Fuellmich can be found on Seba Terribilini's Substack. You want to just give that right now? Or
No,
when we come,
Peter, we have to do
we're
it.
going to
when
run
we
out of time. I do this to my wife.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
I cannot tell a lie. My sinuses are blocked.
George, you crossed the Delaware. You can cross congestion. Here, try clear.
Ah, freedom. Smells like victory.
My fellow Americans, you are formally invited to join us in a nationwide celebration of freedom, unity, and the American spirit. Mark your calendars and join the America Out Loud 25010 celebration by visiting www.americaoutloud.news/live250 as we celebrate America together right from your home. That's www.americaoutloud.news/live250.
1 in 3 people will face cancer, and most never see it coming. I'm Dr. Kelly Victory with The Wellness Company, and I know this personally. I exercised daily, avoided processed foods, and had no symptoms when a routine mammogram resulted in a cancer diagnosis. And modern medicine is often reactive instead of preventative. That's why I formulated SHIELD, a 2-part system designed to support immune health and antioxidant defense. A chemical-free cocoa mix and soft gels. Prevention is power. Visit twc.health/outloud and use code OUTLOUD for an exclusive discount.
Are you tired of struggling with low energy? We get it. That's why we created Organic Energy Juice. You'll have clean, natural energy all day and never struggle with low energy again. In just 2 minutes, you can restore your energy without toxic chemicals and stimulants that make you crash. If you're struggling with low energy, then buying Organic Energy Juice is the right decision. Go to chemicalfreebody.com/outloud and save 20% on your first order.
A man's country is not a certain area of land, of mountains, rivers, and woods, but it is a principle, and patriotism is loyal to that principle. I'm happy to report that American patriotism flows freely once again. AmericaOutloud.news is that place to awaken your heart, soul, and mind to the out loud truth.
And we're back with Dr. Peter Breggin and Ginger Breggin and our terrific guest who's advocating for Reiner Fuellmich, Seba Terribilini.
Seba, how can people, we're going to put, actually, we don't have to ask people, we're going to put a direct link on our column about this on our Substack.
We always do a column that accompanies the interview. And that column, which is written, will include a link to your Substack and your specifically your specific column titled "The Full Story of Dr. Reiner Fuellmich," in which you did a superb job of condensing this amazing story that belongs in a thriller novel, not real life for a human being, because he has been and continues to be so mistreated in every effort to suppress him and his potential efforts and his strength and courage as a human being, really. The globalists are very, very frightened of this man. And we have tremendous admiration for Reiner and what he's done historically as a reformer and an advocate attorney. And we have even more for everything he's done during COVID. Would you please sort of outline for us, Seba, how he has been mistreated in prison, so people get an idea of the degree of laws that have been broken in regards to just human rights, and how Reiner has been detained and abused?
Yes, I would like to start by saying that he was put in solitary confinement for 6 months, which is against human rights. And this was the worst period of time we actually had to go through, because it was the proceedings, the trial was still ongoing, and seeing Reiner in these conditions every time taken from prison to the courtroom. He was handcuffed, he was put in shackles, and he was asked to wear bulletproof vests all the time, which he denied. He didn't want to wear it, but the policemen, they continued to tell him that he could be hit by a bullet. So they were just torturing him in any way, in any possible way. So, and after each hearing, when he was brought back to the jail, he was subjected to a full body search, which is also unbelievable. During this season,
And that was every day.
No, there were maybe 1 or 2 hearings a week. Then maybe there were 2 or 3 weeks with no hearings. So it was not constant. I mean, it was not just 1 hearing every week. It depended on many things. But in the end, there were 53 hearings.
Oh my goodness.
And the proceedings started in January 24 and ended at the end of April 25. Okay.
With his sentencing.
With the sentencing, yes, of actually 3, the official sentencing is 3 years and 9 months, which is exactly what the prosecutor had asked. But in the end, at that time of the sentencing, Reiner had already spent 18 months in pre-trial detention, and normally you have to deduct the entire pre-trial detention period. But the judge decided not to do that, and he only deducted 13 of the 18 months. So in the end, his sentencing is 4 years and 2 months, which is unbelievable. And also the lawyers said that they have never experienced something like this. So that was already a scandal, one of the many scandals that we had to witness. But going back to the 6 months of white torture, because we have to name it the way it is, that was white torture. So Reiner was not allowed any
What do you mean white torture?
A psychological torture.
Ah, okay.
So they try to
Psyops, we'd call it here in the.
Well, that's a
How do you call
psychological,
it?
that's a psychological
Yeah.
operation. That's something
That's a little
different.
different, yeah.
Right. This is
It's more like a real.
this is psychological torture of someone who's incarcerated.
Okay.
One of the
So-
stories you tell, and you're very good.
And
Full story of Reiner is of his birthday, and people gather, 100 or more people gather outside of the prison to sing and celebrate, and they hope that he's going to be let out to see them, and the sort of
That he's going to get his hour outside in the exercise place
and be able to listen to
and
this.
be able to hear the voices.
And instead, they take away his break for the day and they put him in solitary confinement. It's a real sadistic treatment that have done with him.
yeah.
Another story I thought was really remarkable from a psychiatric viewpoint was they put a very disturbed person next to him in a cell who was constantly all day and night making sounds and banging on walls, and was very disturbed and making it hard for him to sleep or even prepare during the day. It's really quite malevolent.
Yes.
What he is being subjected to
Yes.
is pure evil.
Yes.
It should be stopped, obviously.
Yeah. And when this guy with these mental issues was moved into the cell next to his, of course, Reiner was not able to sleep anymore, and he was not able to concentrate for his trial, in order to defend himself. And I would like also to point out the fact that he has no internet. He never had internet, and he had never access to his files, to his documents. So they made his life impossible. In each and every way they could. So what I wanted to add, in these 6 months of solitary confinement, he was not allowed to any contact with other prisoners. He was forced to eat alone in his cell. He was not allowed to use the gym, and also his outdoor activity, which was 1 hour a day, he had to do that in complete solitude. And even to make phone calls was very difficult for him, because he was only allowed to make phone calls when all the other prisoners were locked in their cells, so that he could not interact with any of them. And if somebody was even saying hello from the window or something like this, they would be punished, both of them. They would be punished for just saying hello, It was so evil what they did. And the last point, which is very important, is that Reiner was not allowed to see his dying mother in Bremen.
Right.
He knew that she would die very soon, so he asked the prison to be taken to Bremen to visit his mom. So they said, yes, you can do it, but you will have to see your mom in handcuffs, in shackles, and you'll be accompanied by 2 security guards, armed security guards. Of course, he said, no, thank you. I mean, he didn't want to his mother to see him like this. I mean, this is not human what they did to this man. So he was not able to say goodbye to his mother, and he was not able to attend her funeral in Bremen.
I want to keep bringing out the very positive things about this man so that it isn't a sad show. And I mean, he has maintained himself and he has conducted his defense, and they couldn't break him.
They will not break him. They will not break him. I visited him 2 weeks ago. And I tell you, the spirit, the strength, the positivity he has, they won't break him. They will not succeed. I'm sure about that. And I'm sure also that he will accomplish his mission. He's determined to do that, and he will do that. I'm sure about it.
Well, you're certainly being a very big help to him in many ways.
I do what I can to help him because, you know, the sacrifice he took on him in order to save us, to save the people, to save humanity. And he did save many people from taking the vaccines, the so-called vaccines.
He must have saved so many.
He saved so many.
Hundreds of thousands, if not more.
Or I think even more, because
Yeah.
I see in social medias what people are writing under our, under our posts in Facebook or whatever on Substack, whatever it is. They say, well, he was a beacon of light for me, and he saved my life. He saved my life. So there are millions of people who really say that he was saving their life. So somebody who took on a sacrifice like this, I couldn't just be here sitting on my sofa and doing nothing. And, that's why I decided I have to do something to help this man. And I became an activist, which, I didn't even know what it was being an activist. So this is the definition now that I say, well, I'm an activist. I'm active. I'm helping actively Reiner. So this is what.
So this wasn't this was not your world before that.
No.
Oh.
Not at all.
Well,
not at all.
You're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think that it would be nice for people to understand the movie that you're putting together with a director, right, and a producer. Because if you could tell us about that, that's very uplifting, and
Yes.
it's going to really carry the story forward of what was done to Reiner, the power of all of us who really understand what's happening with the world and the globalist attempt to control the whole world.
Exactly. That's
So
exactly.
we've got 4 minutes. Tell us some,
Okay.
and then we'll call the break, and then you can carry on.
Okay, that's great. So, to start with, a filmmaker and film director, Philippe Carrillo, and myself worked already together last summer when we came together and decided that we had to do something very quickly to help Reiner. So we didn't have time for a movie there. We thought, and what we thought was, well, you know what? We are going to ask all the experts that Reiner has been interviewing. We will ask them, please, to send us a 1-minute video in support of Reiner, and then we will put all these videos together. We will edit the videos, and that's what we did. So 41 people
If I
send
could,
us.
if I could just interrupt.
Sure.
My husband was in the middle of having a stroke in August last year. And I don't think I even saw the invitation at that time because Peter had been also interviewed several times by Reiner prior to his incarceration. And I was very unhappy. We both were that we weren't able to participate at that point. But we love Reiner and have wanted all along to see him out of prison and back doing what he does best, which is advocating for freedom and
Yes.
human dignity and human rights.
Yes.
So carry on. You gathered 41 of the participants and
Yes.
put
And
together.
so, and we put that together. We had, for example, Archbishop Viganò, who is very outspoken, very strong. We had Senator Malcolm Roberts from Queensland. We had Calin Georgescu, who should have been the president of Romania, who is not, unfortunately. We had Andrew Bridgen, ex-MP in England. And we have many, many doctors, Dr. Mark Trozzi, Dr. Brian Ardis. I mean, we had Mary Holland. We had many, many, many people who participated. And so we were able to get the word out for Reiner that way. So we pushed everything, this video everywhere in every platform. And so, but Philippe had always this idea to make a movie out of Reiner's story one day, but we were sure it would be out, so we didn't start at that time. But then in January, Philippe reached out to me and said, "Well, we need to make this film. So let's start with the film." In fact, we started already. We are now on the phase that we are. Philippe is finishing with the script, and I'm setting all the interviews with the experts and with the witnesses that. Who were able to assist the hearings in Germany.
And with that, I'm going to ask for us to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Have you been looking for a healthy snack for on the go? Well, not all energy bars are soft and sugary. Bear Bars are a crunchy, savory bar made from just 6 simple natural ingredients. Bear Bars are plant-based, organic, gluten-free, contain 6 grams of protein, and are low-temperature dried for a unique crunch. Most energy bars are based on chocolate or fruit and are held together with syrups or sweeteners. To learn more, just visit bearbar.com/outloud.
In a world of rising prices, you can still grow abundance. I'm Doug Evans, author of the national bestseller, The Sprout Book. Sprouts grow in 3 to 5 days without soil, sunshine, or fertilizer on your kitchen countertop for under $1 a serving. Take control of your food and your future. Visit thesproutingcompany.com/outloud and use the code OUTLOUD for an exclusive offer. Grow food, not fear.
We're back with Dr. Peter Breggin and Ginger Breggin, myself, and Seba Terribilini, who is filling us in on a new film that is being prepared regarding the experiences of Dr. Reiner Fuellmich. Go ahead, Seba. Continue.
Yes.
Fill us in.
Thank you. So, Philippe is doing the script. We are setting all the interviews, of course. And we will, of course, present all Reiner's story, that's for sure, but not only. Philippe is also an investigative journalist, so he will go deeper into certain topics, which is very good. So we would like to bring the truth to light. and I'm sure we will manage to do it. So we expect the film to be finished before the end of the year. Actually, there are only two of us working on that, so it's Philippe and myself. So it's a lot of work for two people. Of course, we have all the support of Reiner's team, of the witnesses. As I said, in Germany, we have very nice people who are ready to testify for us and to bring in all the evidence that was not allowed to enter the courtroom in Göttingen when Reiner, was facing this trial, because maybe we didn't talk about this, but the defense witnesses were not allowed to testify,
Yeah,
and
that was
all the
information.
motions. And all the motions presented by the defense lawyers, well, let's say 95% of the motions were rejected without any explanation. And moreover, the judge introduced in July 24 the written form of the proceedings, so that the people who were there to assist, to support Reiner as observer, would not understand what was going on. So they wanted to keep it, quiet and for themselves, so that people would not understand what was going on. So many things happened, and
Yeah, that last point, let me clarify a little bit my understanding. Folks, it's so bizarre that it's hard to grasp. And that is, apparently the judge said that instead of an open hearing in which you get your right to speak, and the prosecution gets its right to speak,
Oral arguments.
and so on. There'll be none of that. Everything will be on paper. I mean, if I were in that situation, I would have known they were just neutering me, just taking away my ability to present myself to the world and stand up for myself. And
this was so that the witnesses.
It's bizarre. It's like I was closing down the trial completely.
This was so that the witnesses, sorry, not even the witnesses. This was so that supporters who had come and were sitting in the gallery to observe this case would hear nothing other than, Your Honor, on page such and such, we disagree with blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have any context to understand what was happening.
Exactly.
That is just bizarre.
Yeah, and in regional courts, there is no court recorder. So there is no protocols are carried out in regional courts. But fortunately, we have someone of the observers who did that and who was able to put together all the evidence. And
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the only way we had to understand what was going on.
And how long did the case go on?
You mean the trial from January 24 to end of April 25?
Oh my golly.
Yeah, 53 hearings. Yeah.
Oh my golly.
Yeah.
My goodness. It's very hard to absorb the degree of malice that would have to be present in order to create so many torturous, illegal kinds. Just to imagine all of the to sit down as a human being and say, let's figure out every single way we can tangle up this court case. Let's figure out every single way we can tangle up this human being, Reiner Fuellmich, every single way we can torment him in prison. It's evil.
It is evil. And I tell you more, the defense lawyers presented about 30 motions of recusal. against the judge and the panel of judges, okay? And sometimes these motions were rejected by the very same panel of judges. Can you believe that?
What is I'm not familiar in the U.S. with a panel of judges. So what is their task?
Well, there were three judges, three official judges, plus two not professional judges. And there were five, so that was called the panel of judges.
And they're all sitting up at a big
They were sitting all together and they were never listening to what Reiner was saying until he was able to speak, because after a while he was not able to speak anymore because of the written form of the proceedings coming in. And so they were just sitting there, and I went there and I assisted to hearings, and it was just unbelievable to see that they were sitting in front of their laptop. Reiner was on their either left or right side. They would never look into Reiner's direction when he was speaking, because I must say that when I was there, it was when Reiner started with his closing statements. That's where the proceeding was made verbal again, because of course, because of the closing statements for Reiner and for the defense lawyers as well. So Reiner started with his closing statement, so he had to speak, but no one was listening to him, which was so disgusting. I can tell you. I mean, it was disgusting. After each hearing, we were just speechless. And we would say, well, it can't get worse than that. Yes, it did. Every time it was worse and worse and worse. And we couldn't believe that these things were happening. We couldn't believe that.
It makes a mockery of civilization, really. It makes a mockery of any kind of a Western civilization justice system.
Another one of the things the judge did that you've alluded to, was so amazing, it's beyond belief, which is he didn't think the charges were appropriate enough. So he created new charges against the person whose trial he was supervising.
The judge did?
Yeah, he became a
Yes,
chief
the
prosecutor. He changed the charges and invented new charges against
He switched hats.
Excuse me, temporarily I'm becoming chief prosecutor.
Oh my golly.
Yes.
Well, there had to be a whole machinery behind the scenes that was giving these judges direction, that was giving the prosecutors direction, giving the prison direction. And Reiner was being detained with that individual who was mentally ill in the next cell or in his cell?
No, it was in the next cell.
In the next cell,
yeah, but
which
the thing
completely disrupted his sleep.
Exactly.
Because
for several weeks, that lasted for maybe 5-6 weeks.
While he was preparing and
of course, yes,
going to the courtroom.
Yes. And during this period of time, he was always ill. Reiner was not doing well. And you could tell how pale he was, and he couldn't sleep.
He wasn't allowed physician either, was he?
Sometimes he was denied medical care, yes. And once, when he said, no, I can't attend the hearing because I don't feel well and I want to see a doctor, what they did, they took him to the medical office. Well, yeah. To the town in, I don't know how to say that.
Room?
So there was a doctor in the
emergency room?
No, not emergency room, but in the practice.
Clinic?
in the practice where the doctor of the penitentiary was practicing. So Reiner was taken there, and in front of other patients, he had to enter the waiting room handcuffed and shackled. Can you believe that? Just to make him feel bad. And so all the people waiting there to see the doctor were looking at Reiner as if he was the worst criminal on earth.
Yeah.
You know, they did all this kind of tough to him, which is, you know, one could not believe it, but that's what happens.
Boy, oh boy, he's done very, very important and powerful work to make, he deserves his enemies with the work that he's done. That's a phrase we use for ourselves sometimes. Enemies that we have, we've deserved them because we've had an impact. And Reiner's had a huge impact. They're very, very afraid of him. It's important for us to remember that those who are exercising this authority and power and this abuse against Reiner and against all of us, they're very afraid at this juncture. And they don't want us to see that, but their actions betray them and demonstrate to us how afraid they are.
Yes.
We've got 5 minutes left. Peter, do you want to say anything?
No, I'm an unlikely position of just being somewhat overwhelmed by what this man has been put through. I keep putting myself in his shoes.
I do too.
We both could have been in this position. And certainly there are people who would like to have had us in this position. And thank you. I publicly thank you, Ginger Breggin, for preventing me from going to Bangladesh. That was the one place. What was the South American country where the
Colombia, where it was the kidnapping center of the world at that point.
Seba's nodding.
Yeah.
Well, I had a friend down there who was a psychiatrist and who invited me to come down. And I was very sad to refuse it. And he said...
He was on the advisory board of our nonprofit, and we felt very, very warmly toward him and would have loved to visit him in his home country. But it was Colombia, and the other Americans had been kidnapped when they had gone down on holiday.
He just said, we'll be very careful. And then I didn't... Ginger said, no, that doesn't...
He said, well, we've got walls and, you know, you'll be behind.
Walls and a villa and all this. And I would have gone. I'm a guy. And within about a week, a family member of his was kidnapped.
Literally a week after we said we cannot go. And he had a family member who was kidnapped for months before.
I don't know how long it went.
It was months before he regained his freedom. And a lot of that kidnapping at the time was mercenary, was to get a ransom and then release the people. But you see, if someone has malintentions, if an intelligence or other powerful, quiet, secret groups if other powerful groups have malintentions, they can pretend they're kidnapping and they can pretend they're kidnapping just for their commercial reasons, their mercenary reasons. But what ends up resulting is if the kidnapped person disappears, it can be disavowed by the real kidnappers and pointed at just the climate in the country. Well, that person went there and got caught up by some mysterious mercenaries. So I simply said to Peter, no, you can't go. It took a little more than that, but I talked.
Well done. Well done.
He and I ended up having to do the same thing with the Bangladesh invitation, which came from their psychiatric association. But it was too far and it was too unpredictable a situation. He was beyond protection in that country, so he stayed home.
That's good. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We've got 1 minute left. Would you let people know how they can find you and the movie or the trailer?
Yes, I can send you the trailer, which is already which has been published already.
Well, very briefly, tell us your address for people to type in if they want to go to your Substack.
My Substack is just Seba Terribilini. Oh, let's see if I can see.
.substack.com.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Just my name. So my name, yes. You can find me there, and I will send you maybe the link of Facebook, and so that you can also follow the film.
That's wonderful. And I will put all of that in the write-up. Peter and I thank everyone for coming today. And Seba, thank you so much and good luck on all your efforts to get Reiner out of prison. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Okay.